Hey everyone, what is happening? All right, so we're moving on to our accessory organs of the digestive system. This includes the pancreas and the liver. Now, these are organs that are not directly along the pathway of food, so food doesn't flow through them, but they contribute to digestion. Now, the pancreas has two main jobs. It secretes digestive enzymes, and we know all about those, into the duodenum. And it also regulates blood sugar, which we're going to be looking at today. So the pancreas is connected to the duodenum, and you can see that right here. And another thing that we have here is another term that we want to learn is the exocrine. So this is when enzymes are secreted into something. They're into another organ. And remember, just the pancreas secretes sodium bicarbonate, and this is to neutralize the chyme from the stomach. So it brings the pH back up between 7 and 8. Now this is the optimal pH for all those digestive enzymes to work. If this isn't produced, then the intestinal wall will be broken down and you'll get an ulcer. Now it also produces lipase, which breaks down fat into its components. We looked at that. We've also got trypsin. We've got pancreatic amylase, nucleases, and water also works with these enzymes to break down the substrates, and that is hydrolysis, which we looked at last video. Now, our endocrine system, these are the hormones that are secreted by the pancreas into the blood. Now, insulin is very, very important. Insulin is secreted after eating a meal because blood sugar has gone up. So after a meal, blood sugar goes up. Now, the pancreas detects this increase in blood sugar and secretes the hormone insulin. Now, insulin travels in the blood where it binds to liver proteins and muscle cells and signals them to open up glucose channels, which allows glucose to enter the cells. These are receptor-mediated proteins, and we saw that back when we were doing our cell membrane unit. Now, in the liver, the excess glucose is converted into glycogen. Now, glycogen, remember, if you go back to your biological molecule notes, this is a multi-branched polysaccharide of glucose. This is after you eat a meal, insulin is going to rise because then it allows blood sugar to go into your cells. Now, opposite to this, when blood glucose levels drop or are too low, the pancreas secretes glucagon. Now, really important here is the pancreas secretes both of these hormones. So the pancreas is going to detect this and secretes the hormone glucagon. Now, glucagon travels through the blood to the liver where it signals for glucose channels to open, and then glycogen, which is that multi-branched polysaccharide of glucose, this is now broken down into individual glucose molecules and released into the bloodstream. So I want to bring your attention to this glorious picture here. So you can see, you can see here that we've got the pancreas, all right? And so if you look at high blood sugar, so if you look at here, we've got right after a meal, you're going to have high blood sugar, and this promotes insulin release. So we follow it down, and the pancreas releases insulin. And if you keep following this down, insulin is going to cause the liver to store excess blood sugar, as well as insulin is going to cause glucose to be taken into tissues. Now, what happens is if we have low blood sugar, so let's just bring it down to here. If we have low blood sugar, okay, now this promotes the hormone glucagon to be released. Now, how I remember that is glucagon is kind of like glucose is gone. So now glucagon is released. So it's going to be released, and then glucagon promotes the breakdown of glycogen, which follows along there, and then it raises blood sugar. Now, I relate this to an oven again, and you're going to see this when we do reproduction, this negative feedback loop. So as blood sugar goes up, then insulin goes up, and as blood sugar goes down, glucose goes down. And what your body wants is this up and down, very tight number of blood glucose, all right? And so it just keeps it nice and steady. Now, another accessory organ that we have is the gallbladder. And the gallbladder stores and sends bile from the liver to the duodenum. So the liver makes the bile and it stores in the gallbladder. And the gallbladder, as you can see, it's got the common bile duct and it goes straight into the duodenum. Now, the gallbladder also concentrates bile by 5 times so that it's stronger. Okay, so what it does is it takes out water and electrolytes. Now, what does the liver do? I like to use BB Spud, and Mr. Harkness uses this as well. We've got bile production, so these are the functions of the liver. So bile makes salts to break down fat into smaller globs. We know that. That's mechanical digestion. We have blood cell breakdown. So as your body makes more red blood cells, they have a life. They have a lifespan, and it's about 90 to 120 days. And now the liver takes in red blood cells and breaks them down and reuses what they can. Now, red blood cells break down because they're constantly hitting each other. They're constantly hitting the inside of your capillaries, and therefore they need to get remade. Now, I did want to bring your attention to this term right here, blood doping. This is also how they catch people that blood dope, because one form of blood doping is that you'll take old blood, or you'll take some blood out, put it in a bag, let it sit in the fridge, and then once your body produces or gets more blood, you'll put the other blood that you took out back in, and they can tell how old red blood cells are, so they can look at these frayed type of like old red blood cells, and they can tell if someone's been blood doping or not. Another function of the liver is for sugar. It regulates this by absorbing and releasing glucose in response to insulin or glucagon, which the pancreas secretes. All right. Now we also have the protein production. These are clotting factors in plasma as well as other different hormones. So you're going to see when we do circulation and blood, you're going to see these different types of blood proteins that are involved with clotting. Now, it also, so urea, when we break down proteins, our bodies produce nitrogenous waste called ammonia. Now, this is super toxic, so what our liver does is it combines it with carbon dioxide to form urea. Then this gets filtered out by our kidneys and we pee it out. And lastly, last thing that the liver does is it breaks down and removes toxins. So there's a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulums in there. We've had the pancreas, we've had the liver, we've had the gallbladder. These are all accessory organs to digestion. The main thing that you definitely need to remember for this is the secretion of insulin and glucagon by the pancreas, depending on if you have high or low blood sugar. All right, take care.